Sponsored by Brilliant. Get smarter every day and save 20% via brilliant.org/vector. First, we got PowerBeats Pro, a more robust take on Apple's second generation AirPods with the same H1 headphone chip, but in the PowerBeats in and around the ear design. Now we have Beats Solo Pro. That's the not in-ear, not over-the-ear, but the on-the-ear Beats design. Likewise pro'd up with the H1 headphone chip and quite a bit more. Since I mostly use headphones to listen to podcasts, audiobooks, and to watch video, I figured it'd be better for everyone if I got some legit music knowledge on the line. So, please join me in welcoming iMore Managing Editor Lori Gill back to the show. I'm Rene Ritchie, and this is our Beats Solo Pro review. The design to me looks like previous generation's Beats Solos, but almost like an anime movie sequel where they get slightly sleeker and kinda next generation with their mecha, but the overall look is the same.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that. There's a little more brushed aluminum to it. You can kind of see in the area where they allow you to adjust the size. You'll see exposed brushed aluminum, but other than that, the differences are so slight that other than matte versus shiny, you're not going to see the difference between either Pro or Solo 3 for sure.
And we both got the red version. They have black, ivory white, gray, dark blue, light blue, and red. And we all went for the mostly matte, really matte red version.
More matte red.
More matte. Nice. So I'm going to admit up front that this is not my favorite design for headphones, the on-the-ear version. I really like in-ear headphones. I wear them almost all the time. If I'm doing audio work, I'll use like the big studio cans that go like completely around the ear. People have asked if they bother me with glasses. They don't. I'm wearing them with glasses now. And I can feel my glasses under my ears, but they don't bother me. But I noticed two things. One, that they look way better on you than they do on me. I kind of look like I'm an Animoji with these things on. Like someone put them on top of me in AR or something. And they look really good on.
Yeah, it's like they're designed for I'm not gonna throw you under the bus or anything, but for smaller heads, they definitely fit flatter on my head than they do on you. I feel like I put these on and I just think I am stylish right now. People are gonna look at me with these headphones on.
It's true. And but we have different experiences with the comfort level too, because while I don't like these, I don't mind them. And I've had Beats Solos before and they've never bothered you, but they are not the most comfortable form of headphones for you either.
Yeah. So first, let me speak to the glasses and sunglasses thing. I found it to be the same as you. They're surprisingly not uncomfortable. Sunglasses for me, I don't wear glasses, but considering that's right where the band of the glasses would be, I thought they'd be a lot more uncomfortable, but they're actually not. And in comparison to the PowerBeats Pro, these are more comfortable to wear with sunglasses than the PowerBeats Pro are for me. So that's an interesting thing. They just have a better fit. They don't smash those bars down quite the same. In terms of the general overall comfort, I found them to be surprisingly uncomfortable. After more than a half an hour period of time, I immediately could start feeling the pressure on my head. And, I've been forcing myself to wear them for 2 or 3 hours to really just push myself through, but I find that I actually have like absolute fatigue all over my whole head by the time I take them off. And that's with me like really making myself like leave them on. I wouldn't do that normally. I would take them off after a half an hour or hour because it was so painful for me.
Yeah, I haven't had that at all, so I would recommend anybody interested in this design, buy them, try them out, and if they're not comfortable for you, take them back and get in-ear or over-the-ear because almost everyone makes all the versions.
In terms of comparing the Beats Solo Pro to the Beats Solo 3, I would say the comfort level is about the same. I do notice between the two that the Beats Solo Pro they're heavier. When you hold them in your hand, there's a significant weight difference. Assuming that has to do with the active noise canceling stuff that's in there, that makes them have to be a little bit more weighty on your head.
This is where I really value having you on here because I don't listen to a lot of music. I listen to a lot of podcasts, listen to a lot of audiobooks, but Beats has a very distinctive sound. And how do you feel that coming through with the Solo Pro?
the Beats Curve, which is what they had been known for in the past, for having bass heavy sound. And even the Solo 3 has that Beats Curve that goes a little bit heavy on bass. With the PowerBeats Pro, though, they changed that completely. They took away all that heavy bass and they gave you a better balance. Now, with the PowerBeats Pro, they still had this amazing way to balance music that was intended to have heavy bass. Would boom. You would feel it. It was thumping in your chest. It was thick. But when you were not listening to music that had a heavy bass, even if it was guitar heavy music, acoustic, audio books, things like that, it didn't do that. It balanced it out. So with the Beats Solo Pro, what I found unusual was that I was listening to Chronic by Dr. Dre and I did not feel that heavy thumpy bass. Now, active noise canceling, one of the sort of bad parts of it is that it tends to up the high frequency. So I'm thinking what happened here is that even though they were allowing that heavy bass to pull through with the PowerBeats Pro, with these active noise canceling headphones, that heavy bass just never pulled through. It still manages to have that fantastic balance of audio, but doesn't give you that thumpy bass that actually I kind of like when I'm listening to rap. So I wish it had a little bit thicker bassy sound to it when I wanted it.
Yeah, I listened to the autobiography of Mr. Chuck and to some early Eric B. and Rakim, and it was the same thing. I've gotten used to Beats just smashing that stuff through the floor and into the basement, and it seemed to stop at the first floor with these.
Yeah. Which is great when you're not trying to listen to rap music, but when you want it, I feel like it's missing in these ones a little bit.
A lot of companies have active noise cancellation. If people aren't familiar with it, passive noise cancellation is just when you plug up your ears so that other sound doesn't get into it. Most earbuds have some, like actual ones that go into your ear, have some level of passive noise cancellation, including the PowerBeats Pro. Now, active noise cancellation is when they use software to sort of read the outside noise and cancel it. Apple's talking about adaptive noise canceling, where I'm sure they're using their fancy lab next to Apple Park that's been doing cool things like modeling the different sound for how you hold your iPhone to your ear. But they say that whether you have hair or earrings or glasses, they'll sort of figure out where the headphones are on you and then use those microphones to cancel it, even if the seal isn't, perfect. But it worked really well. Like, it felt like the room was silent when I put them on.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So I just because I think the way it looks good is nice, I wear them over my hair and I get the same noise cancellation that I would when my hair is out of the way. So it's doing its job. I was having band practice last night and I just decided to see how good this active noise canceling really is. And I put them on my head and we're making a lot of noise in there. My watch is going off. It's really way too noisy in here. Everything was clear and not loud. It was like I was listening to music at volume, 35 or something, like inside the headphones. It was amazing that it could do something like that. I
put on a YouTube video playing through my iPhone onto the headphones and then played another one on my computer, and I could only hear the one in my headphones. It was great.
Transparency, which is the Beats Solo Pro have 3 different audio versions. They have active noise cancellation, transparency, and then just off, so that they're regular headphones, which has a little bit of the passive noise canceling. So transparency means it actually it uses microphones and frequencies to actually bring in some of that ambient noise that you exclude yourself from when you're out and about walking down the street. It's very safe for when I use it when I take walks, because I live in a busy city. So if there's a car that's coming by when I'm gonna walk across the street or something like that, I can hear it before I can see it, as if I weren't wearing headphones at all.
So they're also using Apple's H1 chipset, which is the second generation headphone chipset. The original ones had the W series, and those moved over to Apple Watch, and now we have the H series, which is Apple's headphone silicon. And it's what does the pairing. It gives you that same pairing experience as AirPods, and it also lets you do audio sharing. So if Lori, you and I were sitting together, we could watch Godzilla King of the Monsters together or something.
Right, we could both be wearing our more matte red Beats Solo Pros and watch the same movie sitting next to each other on an airplane. It'd be great.
I did have a chance to test out switching, because that's always been the Achilles heel of audio devices for me. And I connected to my iPhone, I connected to my Mac, I went back and forth, I went to my iPad and back, and it all was seamless.
Yeah, it worked great across all of the devices, just like AirPods do. my phone, my watch, my computer, everything. It all just connected right away. It was right there for me when I needed it. So yeah, it's a great experience. Have you tried it with Siri yet?
I have.
It works really well.
It does, and it works well with calls. And I'm always tentative about using headphones like this with calls. The AirPods at least have a little bit of a boom, which just gets it close enough to your mouth and beamforms it a little bit better in my experience. But this seemed to be fine. In terms of recommendations, I always fall back on, if you know and love the Beats sound, then these are just much better next generation Beats devices for you to get. If you likewise have fallen in love with Bose or with Sony, I don't know that this is enough to tear you away from what you're familiar with, but I do think Beats has come a long way in terms of not being quite so Beatsy, by keeping like the good parts of Beats, but also opening up to the more mainstream public's musical tastes.
Absolutely. In terms of the quality, the audio quality, it's like Beats grew up. They were, rough and tumble teenagers who were trying to turn their music up too loud to piss off their parents. And they grew up and they still listen to the greatest music around, but they know how to listen to it better. That's what it feels like to me. Like they found like this perfect, beautiful balance. And I said this with the PowerBeats Pro. I still feel this way. Beats is making fantastic audio sound. And with noise canceling, I find myself hearing even more than I was hearing with PowerBeats Pro in terms of the layers that you listen to. You can hear the the sounds when somebody's singing, like things that maybe you weren't even supposed to hear, but it's so clear that you can hear breaths between music and things like that, and the layers of the background vocals. Not just that you can hear 16 people in a choir singing, but it's almost as if you could hear each one of their individual voices more than I ever could before. So that active noise canceling on top of the fact that Beats is just they are performing really well with their audio, makes for an incredible audio experience.
Thanks, Lori. You can find her on iMore and at Appaholic on Twitter. And as audio becomes as computational as photography, understanding the bits is becoming even more important than understanding the atoms. If that interests you, check out Brilliant. Brilliant is a problem-solving website that uses a hands-on approach with storytelling, code writing, interactive challenges, and so much more. There are over 50 interactive courses for you to dive into, including computer science fundamentals, perfect for high school or college students or early professionals who want to brush up on the basics and strengthen their knowledge of core concepts. And who knows, maybe one day make the next best set of headphones. Because Brilliant is built for ambitious and curious people, the ones who want to better understand the world and help shape it. To support Vector and get unlimited access to Brilliant's courses and daily challenges, just head on over to brilliant.org/vector and get 20% off their annual premium subscription. Thanks, Brilliant, and thanks to all of you for supporting the show. So those are our first thoughts on the Beats Solo Pro. We'll have much more to come in the weeks to come. In the meantime, if you have any questions, hit like, hit subscribe, and see that bell gizmo so you don't miss the next show, and then hit up the comments and let me know. Thank you so much for watching. See you next video.